You talk to me, Jason? What? Yes, I see Kasim Simit. Very low. Ah. No, again, so we have a credit for them? Very good, very good. Make a quotation and we will make a negotiation with them. Okay, thank you. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Jason? Imran, you deliver to Sami? Give them to me? Very good. Jason, please. As a standard solution for TDS you need, how many bottle you need? Small. Only one small one. Very good. Only one piece. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we will complete our emergency action plan, EAP. some videos we will show with us to know how the practical emergency plan or emergency evacuation plan. I need to start with this video. Emergency evacuation procedure, and we will, after the video, inshallah, we will return to our lecture, our presentation, inshallah.
We all have to be prepared for the possibility of an emergency incident on a work site. For this reason, it is the legislated responsibility of your employer to have an emergency response plan in place.
This plan must be developed with the workers that may be affected, and it must be kept current and periodically reviewed by everyone involved. The plan must include
the identification of potential emergencies and how to deal with them,
emergency response facility locations and training requirements,
fire protection requirements,
alarm and first aid requirements,
the procedures necessary emergency PPE and designated workers for rescue and evacuation,
locations of emergency evacuation assembly areas or muster points,
and there must be regularly simulated emergency exercises and training so that everyone knows and practices the correct response.
In an emergency, the designated emergency person who is first on scene must assess the situation and alert others to sound alarms and draw the attention of others to evacuate.
Activate emergency services by dialing 911 or the designated emergency phone number for your work site. Check with your supervisor. It may not be 911.
Call the fire department if fire, resuscitation, or rescue services are required. Call utility companies when needed. Management will call government departments, family members, and possibly the media.
Provide information as to the type and location of emergency and what assistance is required.
Arrange to have one employee meet emergency vehicles at the gate or property entrance to direct emergency responders.
Extinguish fire, if applicable.
Shut off main gas supply, if necessary.
Shut off main electrical breaker, if necessary.
Close all fire doors, if possible.
Evacuate buildings and site, if deemed appropriate, opening all doors to vent gases.
Designated fire wardens and monitors are to make certain everyone has evacuated.
In the event of a site emergency, when you hear an alarm or siren, shut down all work activities and equipment if safe to do so, and proceed to the appropriate assembly area or muster point on foot. Do not drive to the assembly area.
In the case of a flammable gas or combustible vapor leak, your vehicle may be a source of ignition. If the evacuation occurs when you are driving, safely pull off to the side and park. Turn off the ignition, and depending on the work site, you may have to leave the keys in your unlocked vehicle.
Evacuation assembly areas are established and marked.
Some work sites may have a visible windsock. Otherwise, check wind direction with visual aids such as flags and smoke from stacks.
And workers should proceed upwind or crosswind from the source of an emergency to the safest muster point.
If working in a fully operational industrial plant or facility, make certain you are aware of the location of emergency exit gates that are usually installed at regular intervals within the perimeter fencing of these facilities. These gates are intended to facilitate evacuation off the property when safe access to an assembly area is not possible.
And remember, when you hear an evacuation alarm or siren, you don't know the nature of the emergency hazard. It may be a flammable or combustible leak. Consequently, there must be no smoking in the assembly or muster areas, as matches, lighters, and cigarettes may become a source of ignition.
A head count will be taken within the designated assembly areas to ensure all personnel are safe and accounted for. For this reason, it is extremely important that you sign in when arriving for work and that you sign out if leaving. If you haven't signed out when you leave, emergency responders may be placing their lives at risk in a needless search for your whereabouts.
Personnel must remain in the designated assembly areas or muster points until the head count is completed. You must wait for notification from a company representative that it is safe for you to return to your work area.
Always check the emergency response plan and site map or diagram for wind direction indicators, first aid stations, alarms, assembly areas, and emergency exits. On a busy work site, emergency locations often change to accommodate construction progress.
It is your job to stay informed. If you don't know or have any questions about first aid or muster point locations, don't hesitate to ask your supervisor.
Workers must review the emergency response plan and emergency procedures prior to commencing work and regularly at tailgate safety meetings.
Make certain you know the alarms and sirens and specifically what they mean to your job site. Your supervisor will identify the alarms for you. Suitable emergency vehicles may be required to be present for certain isolated or high-risk work sites.
In the case of a fire drill or a false alarm, once the alarm has been canceled, wait for an announcement from a company representative that it is all clear to return to work. An informed, diligent, and safe workforce with a concern for each other and with training for emergency evacuation is critical to the health and safety of every worker on a construction project or work site.
Thank you for staying alert, aware, and proactive. And thank you for watching.
Thanks for this watching this video is emergency evacuation procedures. Shall we complete this our presentation for make integration between the video and the theoretical one? Quick view. Now we are working. Sorry. This one. This is the introduction elements of the emergency action plan, the reporting emergencies and evacuation procedures, designate evacuation coordinators. The topic number 6 will take assisting others to evacuate. How to assist others to evacuate and who is responsible for assisting the others to evacuate. When you develop your plan, you should make a plan for assist visitors and others in an emergency situation. Assisting others to evacuate, many employers designate individuals as evacuations wardens. Please keep this in your mind. Evacuations wardens. What's the meaning of evacuation wardens? I have a separated video for evacuation wardens. I think if we have a time today, I will show you this evacuation wardens. This maybe 7 minutes. In the last, at the end of this lecture, we can see this video. Evacuation wardens here to help move employees from danger to safe areas. Okay, during an emergency, generally, please keep in your mind, one evacuation warden for every 20 employees. Again, one evacuation warden for every 20 employees. Should be adequate, and the appropriate number of wardens should be available at all times during working hours. During working hours. What is the meaning of during working hours? If you are working in a factory like me, I working in metal factories in Egypt. We have 3 shifts, and a morning shift, and afternoon shift, and evening shifts. Okay, if you have a safety evacuation plan or emergency evacuation plan accurate, you should have evacuation wardens in 3 shifts, not only in morning where are managers available only. It should be all over 3 shifts. So here available at all times during working hours. Evacuation wardens may be responsible for checking offices, number 1, checking offices, bathrooms, and other spaces before being the last person to exit an area. So who is the last person should leave the area? The evacuation wardens. They might also be tasked to ensure that fire doors are closed when exiting. Okay, we know the fire door can be easily opened. Okay, that is during you make evacuation. Okay, after we finish the evacuation, why we should close the fire doors? Again, we have the exit door, and we make in exit means of egress and exit routes. Some of characteristics of the exit doors, it should be easily opened. That's right. Okay, but when this is during evacuation. After finishing evacuation, okay, we should close the fire door. Why? Why we should close the fire door? Please share with me, please, your opinion. Why we should? Nobody should enter. Very good. To limit fire. Very good, Mr. Amjadullah. Very good. To limit fire. Not one of the big characteristics is the resistance for fire. The fire door is a resistance for fire. When you close it, you stop fire. Very good, Mr. Rauf. Very good, Mr. Amjadullah. Very good, Mr. Anandababu. Please, can you call me? I wanted to pronounce your name exactly. I'm very sorry. Okay, to limit the fire. Very good, very good, very good. You are paying attention with me. Thanks. Okay, to keep the fire or its reason in confined area. Very good, very good, very good. One of the first firefighting to limit this fire. Very good, Mr. Very good. Okay, complete. It's complete. Okay. Employees designated to assist in emergency evacuation procedures should, number 1, be trained. Very good. To exposure of fire. Very good. Control the exposure of fire. Very good. Okay. Be trained in the complete workplace layout and the various alternative escape routes. The wardens should know all of alternative routes. Okay, if the primary evacuation route becomes blocked, so they are well trained. Number 1, well trained, and be made aware of employees with special needs. Who they know them, who may require extra assistance during an evacuation, who is have special needs, who have he can't speak or understand English language. How to use the buddy system? How the wardens know how to use buddy system and any hazardous area to avoid during emergency evacuation. What is the meaning of buddy system? I will give you explanation for this. Okay, this is outside our course, but here OSHA uses this term, so we should know what is buddy system. Okay, visitors. No, we checked. Give me sign language. Very good, Mr. Amjadullah. Sign language. Who has employees don't know what sign language. Very good. Okay, Mr. How to proceed to work, Mr. Radwan. Very good. Okay, let's complete. Visitors also should be accounted for following an evacuation and may need additional assistance when existing. Okay, you know, visitors don't know where is your layout. Okay, and they can be confused. How can they emergency? So they are in a bad need to make assist them. Okay, some employers have all visitors and contractors sign in when entering the workplace. That's logbook, as you said before, and use this list when accounting for all persons in assembly area. The hostess or area wardens, okay, if established, are often tasked for helping these individuals safely evacuate. Here, I show you when you use this as a spotlight. Here, as you see, the buddy system. Buddy system, according to Wikipedia, the buddy system is a procedure in which two individuals, buddies, okay, operate together as a single unit, so that they are able to monitor and help each other. Okay, as per Merriam-Webster, the first known use the first buddy system goes far as back to 1942. Okay, Webster goes on to define the buddy system as an arrangement in which two individuals are paired as a mutual safety in hazard situation. So the Webster, which is creates this term, okay, from 1948, he said for an arrangement. So it is a technique. So as it is a technique, should be well trained. Not all employees will make this. Only wardens can do this. Okay. The buddy system is basically working together in pairs in a large group or alone. Both the individuals have to do the job. The job could be to ensure that work is finished safely, or the skill or learning is transferred effectively from one individual to the other. This is term from Wikipedia, not in our it is out of our training course. But I wanted to explain you what is the meaning of buddy system. What is the meaning? What is the ability or capability of the wardens to use buddy system or teaching for? Okay. Topic number 7. Number 7 is designate those who will shut down an emergency. Okay, employees who may remain to shut down. Large companies may have certain equipment and processes that must be shut down in stage or overtime. In other instances, it is not possible or practical for employees to stay behind to shut down equipment or processes under emergency situations, and everyone must evacuate. Not all will be shut down, only defined one or determined one. However, smaller enterprises may require designated employees to remain behind briefly to operate fire extinguishers. One of these, you should know who can make a firefighting, okay, or shut down gas or electrical systems, and other special equipment that could be damaged if left operating, or creating additional hazards to emergency responders, such as releasing hazardous materials. If you if you don't, if it is la qadar Allah, if we have a fire, okay, and the gas opened, okay, if the fire and catch on gas, it will be make explosion, so it should be turned off. Each employer must review their operation. Number one, each employer must review their operation, determine whether total and immediate evacuation is possible for various types of emergencies. The preferred approach and the most often taken by small enterprises is immediate evacuation for all their employees when the evacuation alarm is sound. Okay, the preferred approach. Okay. If any employees will stay behind, the plan must describe in detail the procedures will be followed by these employees. What the tasks, what a clear tasks they will be do, and how can they save their life. Okay. Firstly, life is the first. Okay. All employees remaining behind must be capable to recognizing when to abandon the operation or task and evacuate themselves before their egress path is blocked. So they should have how they will make the determined or a clear tasks, and how can they evacuate safely, keeping their life. In the small establishments, it is common to include the plan locations where utilities such as electrical and gas can be shut down for all or part of the facility, either by company employees or by emergency response personnel. Okay, example accounting for number 8 is accounting for employees. Before we take this topic, please, if it is these topics we explain is clear, please write to me one. If it is clear, write to me one. If you have any questions, please write to me. Thanks, Mr. Ruh, Mr. Muhammad, Mr. Amir, Mr. Jimmy, Mr. Renson, Mr. Murtada, Mr. Redlet, Mr. Mesfer. Thank you for all. Let's complete for keeping our time. This is one of the Mr. Mesfer, Mr. Abu. Okay, shall we complete? Accounting for employees. Procedures to account for employees after evacuation to ensure that everyone got out may include designating employees to sweep areas, checking offices and restrooms before being the last to leave the workplace, or conducting a roll call in the assembly area. Evacuation wardens can be helpful in accounting for employees. So the evacuation wardens, the last one to leave, and he can helpful in accounting for employees to ensure the fastest, most accurate accounting for employees, consider including these steps in the emergency action plan. Designate assembly areas or designate assembly areas both inside or outside the workplace. Maybe your assembly areas inside or outside your workplace are the locations where employees gather after evacuating. After you will evacuate, after you will finish your exit discharge, you will go to assembly area. Internal assembly areas within the building are often referred to as areas of refuge. Areas of refuge. Make sure the assembly area has sufficient space to accommodate all employees. If you have only assembly area is a small one, and you have one maybe more than 500 employees. How can it is sufficient to accommodate them? Okay, this is the internal one. The external one or exterior assembly area used when the building must be partially or completely evacuated if the fire is out of control, if the emergency is out of control. You can't keep your employees inside the assembly area, so you should have external assembly area. Okay, what is the second step? If it is uncontrolled emergency evacuation plan, so you should have external assembly area. Maybe this external assembly area you should completely evacuate it and typically located in the parking lots or other opening area, any other opening area away from busy street, away from busy streets. Try and designate assembly areas so that employees will be upwind of the building. You should be upwind of the building. Why the exterior assembly area should be upwind of the building? I ask you, why the assembly area should be upwind of the building? Again, the external assembly area should be upwind, will be upwind. All employees will be upwind the building for dangerous and heavy gas. Okay, for protection. Okay, in order to avoid the gas leaving to get in contact. Very good. Gas will go down. Very good, Mr. Nasser Siddiqui. Very good, Mr. Osman. Away from danger. That's right. For danger gas. Very good. Very good. That's right. ابعد نقطة عن الخطر وهذا المختلف. Very good. رائع يا مهندس محمد. ممتاز. Very good. Okay. Together all and in more safer area. Very good. Away from danger. Very good, Mr. Misfer. Okay. Shall we complete? Okay. Accounting of the employees. Firstly, we designate assembly area. Secondly, take a head count after evacuation. بالمعنى البلدي بتعد بالراس حضرتك، بالمعنى العربي الفصيح خالص بتعد بالراس. Okay. Take a head count after evacuation. Accounting for all employees following an evacuation is critical. لابد you should. Okay. It's critical. Identify the names and the last known locations for anyone not accounted. Okay, you take account. Okay, very good, but you have missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees or visitors. Okay, first thing you will identify the names. Number 2, the last known locations of anyone not accounted and the pass them to official in charge. Here don't be hero. Please pass them to official in charge, which is internal or external. Maybe internal, you have a firefighting team or have evacuation wardens. Okay, or you give them to responsible for civil defense. Okay. Number 2, assembly area design. When designating an assembly area, consider and try to minimize the possibility of employees to interfering with rescue operations. Okay, please make a free space for rescue operations. Number 4, account for others. Establish a method for accounting for non-employees such as suppliers and customers like visitors. Okay. Additional evacuation. Establish procedures for further evacuation in case of incidents expense that may consist of sending employees home by normal means or providing them with a transportation to an off-site location. This is the additional evacuation if the emergency case or emergency situations go to uncontrolled, extremely uncontrolled emergency. Okay, so you should evacuate completely the employees from internal or external assembly area. Maybe go home, but you should take the names, and you should know who is going home and who is staying and who is still in your workplace. Number 9 is active shooter emergency. It is a type of emergencies not not here, maybe not familiar in our area, in Arab areas. But as Mr. Nasser Khan said, is a violations one of the emergencies maybe increased in last years, like shooter in your workplace. Maybe it is not happened in any Arab area, maybe rarely, but it is one of the considered situations. If one of you, alhamdulillah, will have a green card and will go to USA and working there, so you should pay attention for shooter emergencies. Okay. If anyone go to USA, please take my number. Maybe we will contact inshallah. جاي يا مهندس محمد عبد الرؤوف ان شاء الله معانا ولا مكمل؟ UK خلاص. حاضر. UK حاضر. Anyone come with us? Me and Mr. عبد الرؤوف انا رايح يا مهندس محمد، احنا اللي جايين معاك يا مهندس محمد. Anyone come with us, Mr. Radwan? Okay. Well, inshallah, we will take all visas, inshallah, with us. Let's complete. Unfortunately, when we go there, first thing we will face shooter emergencies. One. Okay, let's complete. Jimmy will stay in Yambo, inshallah. It's safe area. Very good, Mr. Omar. مع بعض إن شاء الله. Okay, let's complete. Although not originally considered as a part of emergency action plan, okay, it is now important to include training. You should include this training with exercise to plan for event an active shooter is discovered in the workplace. Together, the emergency action plan and the training exercises will prepare your staff to effectively respond to help and minimize loss of life. I will not stay here in this point, but I should give you what you will do. An active shooter is an individual if actively engaged in killing, not be as the first one, okay, or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, active shooter use a firearm or firearms, and this is no pattern, no method to their selection of victims. Active shooter situations are unpredictable and evolve quickly. Typically, the immediate deployment of law enforcement, like police, is required to stop the shooting and to mitigate harm to the victims. Okay, because active shooter situations are often over within 10 to 15 minutes before law enforcement arrives on the scene. Individuals must be prepared both mentally and physically to deal with the active shooter situation. Until police, inshallah, will come, inshallah, he will kill all of attendants. So you should know how can you deal with this. I will give you only short items. How can you respond to active shooters? Number one, evacuate. In order to list, number one, evacuate as you can do. Okay. Number two, hide out if you can't. If the evacuation is not possible, you should find a place to hide where the active shooter is less likely to find you. Number three, take action against active shooter if there is no anything and your life in danger, accurately in danger, you should take action against them. And if you are a hero, you can do this for shooter. Okay. So I will not take time in this. I can give you only 1 minute video to show this. How can you deal with the active shooter?
You heard some blanks, and it was a little stressful, absolutely, because everybody's getting up. You have to yell, you know, gunfire, gunfire, which exits they're going to leave.
A lockdown drill is basically telling kids to be quiet. They're walking them through, getting them through the stress inoculation of what could happen. This is a lot different because we're actually showing them hands-on options of what you can do.
It's your room. I want you to grab some students and barricade your door how you would barricade your door.
The shooter's making a big mistake when he comes to a school that's been trained because they're preparing for it, they're ready for it, and what they have is options and plans in their head of what they can do to help their students survive, and then they can survive too.
That's great. Hey, you would be surprised at how much just 2 or 3 people sitting here can keep that door from getting open.
What they're preparing for is all different types of attacks, whether the attacker's in the classroom, is in the hallway, is at the front entrance of the school. All of the timing and decisions that come into play based on where the attacker is what they're doing. Fight or flight, your body is reacting to it, your blood pressure is going up, breathing becomes difficult, tunnel vision, all of that, and you have to work through it, and right now teachers are working through it.
At the very end of the video, did you guys catch?
I think you just learn what a normal response is to some people. Some people get afraid and they freeze. Other people help out. I'm going to do whatever I can to save a kid and a staff member. I think that's the #1 job that I have here.
Okay, this how can you deal with shooter emergencies? Okay, you know there is a very big rule in this situations, which is said two words only: fight or flight. Again, fight or flight. If you can fight, okay, but it is not the first choice for you. Or flight, you can evacuate or can hide out. Okay, if you are a hero and have big muscles, please fight them. Okay, let's complete the number 10, the fire rescue and medical services. Here, coordinate and communicate with the fire rescue and medical services. Okay, how can you, after you make evacuation, after you make evacuation, although most of us quickly move away from the hazardous environments created during emergency situations, a group of detected and well-trained professional emergency responders and medical service personnel are tasked with containing and mitigating these incidents, rescuing individuals at risk, and providing medical assistance to the injured. Unless the company is a large employer handling hazardous materials and the processes or has employees regularly working in hazardous situations, the company will probably choose to rely on local public resources to provide these special services. Again, they rely on local public resources to provide these specialized services outside, okay, from outside. External departments or agencies such as the local fire and police departments, medical clinics, or hospitals and ambulance services are used. Make sure that they are prepared and respond as outlined in emergency action plan. Make sure they are familiar with your building and any dangerous location with the building. This is the final of our lecture today. Safety first. If you need, we have time now. If you need, we can talk. والله يا شركات جميله يا مهندس عبد المعبود، صح. بس انت بعت لي على الخاص يعني. الفيديو شكله بيقول انها شركات حلوه. We have time to see what is the responsibilities of evacuation wardens. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Fire warden training. This is the training for fire warden.
The first moments after an alarm.
Are you coming or what? It's probably just another drill. Are you gonna go?
Yep. A critical time for action. Because most people's experience is limited to fire drills and false alarms, they may not take fire alarms seriously. The sense of urgency necessary for a successful evacuation is missing as they slowly, grudgingly leave their work site. In emergency situations, seconds count. The fire may be concealed, smoldering in the electrical system, spreading through the ductwork, across walls and in false ceilings. And then there's the most dangerous threat, smoke. Moving rapidly ahead of the flames, smoke can fill a building with poisonous, life-threatening fumes in minutes. Smoke rises, filling a space from the top down. It makes it difficult to see and impairs your ability to think and move. In minutes, smoke first causes unconsciousness, then death. Smoke is the #1 killer in fires. Fire wardens play a critical role in the safe, rapid evacuation of your building. Their knowledge and presence can make the difference between life and death.
So what have you got? We've got a person in the West Darrell on the second.
Building fire wardens are the communications link between the fire department, University Protective Services, and the floor wardens. They remain at their post by their designated fire alarm annunciator panel, note and record the location of the alarm, and will respond to the fire phones and any requests for assistance. Floor fire wardens assist in evacuation procedures and ensure that building fire wardens are kept informed with accurate information about fire conditions, trapped people, and the location of anyone remaining in the building.
Okay, come on everyone, let's go at the front.
When a fire alarm is activated, the University Control Center is automatically alerted.
It's University of Alberta.
The alarm is passed by a direct line to the Municipal Fire Department Communications Center and University Protective Services.
We located the fire on the second floor of administration building.
Direct two-way radio communications links are established.
Buckland 2 on recon, confirm fire second floor.
A fire response team is immediately dispatched to the scene to provide assistance to the fire department. If you are a building fire warden, proceed immediately via the safest route to the main entrance and your designated panel to begin assessing the situation. Collect any information and be prepared to report to the fire department and protective services. You must wear your white hat.
The person on the second floor.
If you are a floor fire warden, proceed to your designated area to begin directing all occupants to the nearest, safest exit. Wear your red hat at all times.
Oh, hey, Lynn, time to go.
Yes, I understand. I'm on an important call. I'll be out in just a moment.
If anyone resists leaving, make a note of the location and move on. Don't waste time arguing. Make note of the name of the person and their location to inform the building fire warden.
And I'll let them know. I'll shut the door on the way out.
All doors leading to the corridor should be closed to slow the spread of fire. Check all washrooms by opening the door and calling out.
Excuse me, we don't know where to go.
Non-ambulatory persons are to be directed to a safe place, such as a fire-protected stairwell. Make a note of anyone left behind and where they are. Assign a runner to relay this information to the building fire warden to ensure the fire department is aware of people needing assistance. Once floor fire wardens have cleared their area, pass on any additional information about fire conditions, trapped people, or the location of anyone remaining in the building to the building fire warden before exiting the building.
Sorry if I run in and grab something. I forgot.
Prevent anyone from re-entering the building. Do not let anyone go back inside.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
As the runners and floor wardens report in, the building fire warden consolidates all incoming information. It's important to verify that everyone in your area is accounted for. Report all relevant information to fire officials and then stand by to give information and assistance as needed.
So what have we got? We've got a person in the west stairwell on the second floor in a wheelchair with an aide. Okay. And then we have a person in 120F who refuses to leave. Okay.
Fire wardens do not take part in the firefighting and rescue operations. These are dangerous tasks best left to trained and properly equipped professionals.
We've got needs, we're exiting the building. Can we have copies, medical sectors?
When the fire department is satisfied the emergency is over and leave, it still may not be safe to re-enter the building. Occupational health and safety teams may be required to perform additional investigations, such as air quality checks.
Hi, so I just spoken with environmental health and safety, and they've given the all clear for staff to come back in the building.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go tell them.
University Protective Services will confirm when it is safe to re-enter the building. Once notified, the building fire warden, using the fire phones, voice paging system, or the runners, will give an all clear.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to get your feedback on the evacuation yesterday. How did you...
At the end of any evacuation, floor wardens and the building fire warden will meet to go over what happened. Successes and problems should be recorded and presented to the University Fire Safety Division in a written report, along with any suggestions for improvements. As a member of the Fire Wardens program, you play a vital role in the safety and well-being of your university community. Your leadership and knowledge are key elements in the coordinated plan that allows us all the freedom of knowing that at the University of Alberta, we are prepared for survival.
I think this the last. Okay, I think the last video is more comprehensive and showing the responsibilities and the procedure for evacuation. What is this? I don't see. I can't get it again. Yes. Now, in the last of our lecture today, thank you for your time. Please, if the emergency, the complete partition of the emergency action plan, fire protection plan, and the exit routes and the means of egress, and the fire extinguishers, how can we deal with this, and you know the type of this. Please, if you have any questions here, please send to me now. I can reply you or send you to me by WhatsApp in the group or privately. I will send you the recorded video today with the training material, and I will send you the quiz I want to give you some notes, please. Number one, you should solve daily quiz in order to know how can you solve the final exam. The final exam, inshallah, will not outside the daily quizzes. But the correct answers for the daily quizzes should be I will send for anyone will be have the concerning for this training course. If you are pay attention and you are interested in this training course, you will send me. I will reply you by the correct answers. Number two, please, when you answer any questions, multiple choice, don't choose more than one choice if he don't set to use this. When he said to you, you can choose more than one answer, so you can choose more than one answer. If he don't said to use this, if he don't said that, don't choose more than one answer, you only choose one answer. Okay, multiple choice, the common one is one answer. What is not common, maybe more one answer. Maybe more one answer he will give you in the question. This instruction he will give you in the question. If he didn't say in the instructions, you can choose more than one answer, please choose only one answer. Please, if it is clear, please write to me clear. If you have any questions, please say to me. Thanks, Mr. Amjadullah. Thank you, Mr. Renzo, Mr. Musfir, Mr. Nando, Mr. Osman, Mr. Murtada. Thank you for all. I will send you now, after the ending this lecture, I will send you by WhatsApp, and I am waiting your answers for the quiz. Thank you. See you soon. See you tomorrow, inshallah, at the same. Thank you, Mr. Amjadullah. See you, inshallah, at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, inshallah. See you soon. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.